The future of the Bears is being rewritten right this moment, and you won't believe what's happening. A coach just threw an explosive challenge at our quarterback that could change everything, while our defense is making national noise and a young pass rusher is dominating like never before. 3 news items that will define our 2025 season, and one of them will leave you stunned. Stick around till the end, because what I've discovered will make you understand why Chicago might be different this year. And if you're true Bears fans, hit that like button now and subscribe, because this is exclusive and urgent information. Yo, Bears Nation, what I'm about to share with you today isn't just a news roundup, it's a deep dive into 3 developments that could turn our chronically losing franchise into a legitimate NFC contender. And I'm not exaggerating when I say one of these news items literally made me jump out of my chair when I read it. Yo, Bears Nation, Ben Johnson just dropped a bomb about Caleb Williams that will completely change how you see our quarterback. The coach literally said he's not going to ask Williams to be Superman all the time. And you know what this means? He finally understood the issue that cost us 68 sacks last season. But listen to this. Those 68 sacks weren't just a bad number. They were the 3rd most in NFL history. This means Williams was getting demolished like few quarterbacks have ever experienced. And you know why? Because he was trying to be a hero. Every play. I'm telling you this. Johnson is doing what Nagy never could. He's simplifying the game for Williams without stifling his natural creativity. And you know why that's genius? Because in the win against Buffalo, Williams did something you didn't see much last year. He threw the ball away on a 1st down instead of trying to force an impossible play. But here's the part that gets me really excited. Johnson isn't just asking Williams to be more conservative. He's creating a system where Williams can use his natural athleticism at the right moments. Johnson said on the Up and Adams podcast, "We're not going to ask him to be Superman all the time, but when those moments come, that's when he needs to help us." Do you understand the brilliance of this? Johnson is teaching Williams to pick his battles. Instead of trying to work magic on every play, Williams is learning when it's safe to extend the play and when he needs to get rid of the ball quickly. And here's what impresses me even more. The goals Johnson set for Williams are absurd. 4,000 passing yards and 70% completion rate. To put it in perspective, only 13 quarterbacks in NFL history have achieved both of those marks in the same season. And Johnson is asking this from a 2nd-year quarterback. But I think these goals aren't crazy. They're strategic. Johnson knows that if Williams hits these numbers, the Bears automatically become one of the league's top offenses. 4,000 yards mean Williams is consistently completing passes. 70% completion means he's making smart decisions. The most striking difference I saw in the victory against Buffalo was the pre-snap operation. Johnson said that the first team had no pre-snap issues against Buffalo, something that plagued them throughout training camp. This might sound like boring technical details, but I'll explain why this is revolutionary for our offense. Williams is now receiving the play, coming to the line, reading the defense, aligning his receivers, and executing everything without hesitation. Last year, how many times did we see Williams confused at the line? How many times did we see him burn timeouts because he couldn't make the right protection call? Johnson specifically mentioned seeing Williams change protections at the right moment during the game. This means Williams is reading blitzes, identifying where pressure is coming from, and adjusting before the snap. That's the difference between a lost rookie quarterback and a field general. And do you know what else makes me confident? Williams is making decisive throws. Johnson used that specific word, decisive. This means Williams is no longer hesitating in the pocket. He's seeing the open receiver and attacking. If you ask me what's the biggest change I see in Williams under Johnson, it's confidence. Last year, Williams looked like he was always second-guessing himself. Now, even in practice, you can see he knows what he's doing. But here comes what worries me a little. Johnson is asking a lot from Williams very quickly. These goals of 4,000 yards and 70% are huge for a quarterback who had a tough rookie season. The pressure can be overwhelming. But then I think about what Johnson said about not asking Williams to be Superman all the time. And I realize the coach understands the quarterback's psychology. He's given Williams permission not to be perfect. on every play while setting high standards for the entire season. And the real test will be against Kansas City on Friday. Johnson confirmed that Williams will have a lot more snaps against the Chiefs. This means we'll see how Williams performs against an elite defense that knows all the tricks. I ask you, after years of watching this team suffer from questionable quarterback decisions, do we finally have a coach who knows how to develop Williams the right way? Or are we putting too much pressure on a quarterback who is still learning? If that surprises you, wait until you hear this about our defense that's making national noise. Andrew Billings is back from the dead, literally, and he's 20 kilos heavier. Not of fat, of pure muscle. And when he said 20 kilos of muscle, to reporters they laughed. But I think they don't understand what that means. Let me put it in perspective for you. Billings now weighs 156 kilos of pure muscle in the middle of our defensive line. To compare, that's heavier than any nose tackle we faced last year. He literally transformed into a force of nature. But the real story here isn't just the weight, it's the recovery. Billings suffered a pectoral muscle rupture that not only ended his season but virtually destroyed our run defense. Before his injury, we were already struggling against the C run. After he was out, we plummeted to 28th in the league. I'm telling you that this injury was the turning point of our entire last season. Without Billings anchor in the middle, running backs were running through our defense like it was practice. Derrick Henry destroyed us. Josh Jacobs humiliated us. Every week it was the same story. Now Billings is back, and you can see in practice that he's different. Not just physically, but mentally. He's speaking like a leader who knows the entire defense depends on him. And here's what excites me most. Billings isn't just talking about stopping the run. He's setting audacious goals for the entire defense. Our goal is to be in the top 5 in everything. If we're top 5 in everything, we're going to win a lot of games. Do you understand what that means? Top 5 against the run, top 5 against the pass, top 5 in sacks, top 5 in takeaways, top 5 in third down defense. Billings is talking about a dominant defense in every aspect. But here comes the most impressive part. Billings proved in the victory against Buffalo that he can pressure the quarterback even as a 156-kilo nose tackle. He had a devastating sack that made the whole defense celebrate like it was playoffs. And do you know why this is so important? Because if Billings can pressure from the inside while stopping the run, our defense becomes unstoppable. Imagine Montez, Sweat, and Austin Booker attacking from the outside while Billings is collapsing the pocket from the inside. That is a nightmare for any quarterback. Dennis Allen brought a completely new philosophy to our defense. Billings explained, "We're going to pressure. It doesn't matter where we are in the game. Pressure makes sense. We're going to apply." That's a killer mentality. Last year, our defense was reactive. We waited for what the offense was going to do and tried to respond. Now, with Allen, we're aggressive. We're dictating what the offense can do through constant pressure. And the part that excites me most is that Billings is talking about speed to the ball. He said, first, the speed with which you move. After the ball is launched, after the running back breaks through the scrimmage line, we all rush there. This means our defense isn't just getting bigger and stronger, it's getting faster. And when you combine size, strength, and speed, you have a recipe for domination. But what really convinces me that Billings is right about the top 5 goals is that he's seeing it in practices. He said the takeaways they're producing, the third down defense, everything is coming together. And you saw in Hard Knocks how even Bills players were impressed with Billings. Deion Dawkins, who is a Pro Bowl tackle, looked at him and said, "That guy is huge." The defensive tackle. Just look at 97. When your opponents are impressed, you know you've got something special. The real test will be against Kansas City. Billings confirmed that the defense will have a lot more snaps against the Chiefs. This means we'll see our starting defense against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. If we can pressure Mahomes and stop the Chiefs' run, we can believe in these audacious goals. However, I have a concern. Can Billings maintain this level for an entire season? He's coming off a serious injury, he's 20 kilos heavier, and he's going to face many more snaps than last year. The risk of another injury is real. Nevertheless, when I see his confidence and the way he's talking about team goals instead of individual stats, I believe Billings understands that this is his season to prove he can be the anchor of an elite defense. I ask you, Do you think a defense can really go from 28 to top 5 in one season? Or is Billings being too optimistic about what this defense can do? And just when you thought we were done, this story will leave you shocked because it proves that sometimes the greatest talents are hidden right in front of us. Austin Booker, our 5th-round pick last year, is having such a dominant preseason that Pro Football Focus put him down as an emerging player for the entire 2025 season. But let me explain why this is way more impressive than it sounds. Booker wasn't even supposed to be a starter this year. Ryan Poles spent a fortune in free agency signing Dayo Odeyingbo specifically to be our DE2 alongside Montez Sweat. Booker was supposed to be a developmental player, slowly learning the system, and suddenly Booker is destroying the preseason in a way no one saw coming. The stats are absurd. 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, a 93.8 grade in PFF, 9 total pressures, and a pass rush win rate of 25.9%, all in just 2 games. To put that in perspective, 25.9% pass rush win rate is elite. Means that in over 1 in every 4 pass rushes, Booker is beating his blocker. Mack had 23% in his best season with the Bears. Khalil Mack. But here comes the part that gets me really excited. Booker did this against first-team offensive lines. These weren't sacks against third stringers or backups. He was facing tackles who will be starting in the NFL, and he was dominating them. Mason Cameron from Pro Football Focus wrote, the 5th-round pick from the 2024 draft is standing out early in his 2nd year, crashing the training camp and producing from the edge. When PFF calls a player relentless, you know it's special. I think the story behind Booker's draft selection is even more impressive. The Bears had already made all their picks in the 2024 draft. They didn't need to pick anyone else. But Ryan Poles saw Booker still available in the 5th round and literally traded a 2025 pick to get back into the draft. This means Poles saw something in Booker that 31 other teams missed. And it wasn't just potential. Poles must have seen something specific that made him sacrifice a future draft pick. And now we know what Poles saw. Booker has always been a natural pass rusher with refined techniques, but he needed time to develop the strength needed for the NFL. A year of NFL strength training and technical development, and he exploded. If we look at his college background, the clues were there. Booker had very little experience, but when he finally got playing time in 2023, he exploded with 8 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. That suggested he had a very high ceiling if he got consistent development. But what impresses me most is how Booker is being respected by the veterans. On Hard Knocks, you saw Dion Dawkins, a Pro Bowl tackle from the Bills, giving friendly advice to Booker during practice. This doesn't happen with normal rookies. It happens when a veteran recognizes special talent. And after Booker's devastating sack in the game, it was Dawkins who commented from the sideline on how impressive Booker was. When an opponent is praising your pass rush publicly, you know you've got something special. Dennis Allen must be dreaming about the possibilities. Imagine a front 7 with Montez Sweat, who had 12.5 sacks last year on one side, Booker on the other, and Andrew Billings collapsing the pocket in the middle. That's a combination that can give any NFC North quarterback nightmares. But here's what really gives me confidence about Booker. He's not just dominating with athleticism. His PFF grade of 93.8 suggests he's using refined technique. Booker isn't just faster than the tackles. He's using hand placement, counter moves, and sophisticated pass rush plans. And the best part is that Booker still has lots of room to grow. He's still learning Allen's system, still gaining NFL strength, and still developing his arsenal of moves. If he's already dominating now, imagine how he'll be mid-season. However, here's the concern that keeps me up at night. Booker got injured in the Week 2 game, and Ben Johnson hasn't given any updates on his condition. With the regular season starting on September 8th, every day counts. The lack of information could be good news. Maybe it's just precaution. But it could also mean the injury is more serious than it initially appeared. And if Booker misses significant time, our pass rush becomes a giant question mark again. Do you see the irony? We finally found a solution to our biggest defensive problem, a diamond in the rough that was on our roster all along. and an injury could take all that away just when the season is starting. But I have faith that Booker will come back strong. Players with his mentality and work ethic don't stay out for long. And when he returns with Sweat on the other side and Billings in the middle, our defense can be deadly. I ask you, has Ryan Poles finally hit the jackpot with a late-round draft pick? Or is Booker just another preseason hype case that will vanish when facing real competition? But now, let's connect these three news items because together they tell a bigger story about where the Bears are headed in 2025. These aren't three isolated developments. These are three pieces of a puzzle that Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson are putting together. First piece, Williams developing consistency and decision-making under Johnson. Second piece, Billings returning as the anchor of a defense that wants to be top 5 in everything. Third piece, Booker emerging as an elite pass rusher to complement Sweat. If these three pieces come together in the regular season the way we're seeing in preseason, the Bears can go from a rebuilding team to a playoff contender in one season. Think about it. If Williams hits Johnson's targets, 4,000 yards, 70% completion, our offense automatically becomes respectable. If Billings can carry our defense to the top 5 in multiple categories, we're a problem for any team. And if Booker maintains this production alongside Sweat, our pass rush can be devastating. But I also see the risks. Williams can still regress under pressure. Billings can get injured again with his increased workload. Booker might just have a hot preseason before being discovered by rival scouts. However, what gives me hope is that these changes aren't just about talent. They're about system and culture. Johnson brought a system that simplifies the game for Williams. Allen brought an aggressive mentality that frees our defense. And the organization created an environment where diamonds in the rough like Booker can flourish. Bears Nation, I told you, these three stories would change everything you think about. Our 2025 season, Ben Johnson transforming Williams into an efficiency machine with targets of 4,000 yards and 70% completion. Billings returning as a 156-kilo monster determined to put our defense in the top 5 in all categories, and Booker emerging as a solution to our pass rush with stats that rival the best in the league. But I want to go deeper with you. Which of these transformations has the greatest potential impact? Is it Williams' development under a coach who finally knows how to use his talents? Is it Billings' return with a mentality that can transform our 28th place defense into an elite unit? Or is it Booker's emergence as a pass rusher who can form a deadly duo with Sweat? And here's my most important question for you. Considering these three changes together, where do you see the Bears finishing in the NFC North? Can we compete with Detroit and Green Bay? Or are we still a season away from being relevant? And one question that keeps me up at night, if Booker can't return from injury in time, does this ruin all the momentum we've built? Or do we have enough depth to maintain this defensive transformation? Leave your analyses in the comments because I not only read everyone, I respond. This Bears community is more than fans. We are passionate analysts who understand every nuance of our team. And if you want exclusive analysis like this every day with deep breakdowns of every Bears move, hit that subscribe button now. Because tomorrow I have bombshell information on moves Poles might make before the preseason ends. Hit like if you believe these three changes can transform the Bears in 2025. Share with every Bears fan who needs to understand what's happening and turn on notifications because you can't miss what's coming next. Bear down, Chicago Bears! See you tomorrow with more exclusives that will leave you even more excited about the future of our team. Until next time, Bears Nation.